last night out of the blue, drifting off to the evening news. She said, honey, what would you do if you'd never met me? I just laughed, said, I don't know.
Alright, so
I think you said that backwards.
I could take a couple guesses.
No, I'm saying quality of men.
You don't need to
Okay.
Alright. Take it back.
You're about ready to get one. Go well. We'll just roll with it. Alright, I'm sorry, guys.
tomorrow,
Chopper right there.
take a few strokes off my golf game.
and you can just take her hand and put it right there.
Okay, let's try that again. I need a lot of practice.
Yeah.
Big as me.
Be a better football
What are you doing, swinging?
But if I was a single man, alone and out there on my own,
Yeah.
well, I'd be looking for a woman like you.
Every time I try to. Hey.
Well, I could tell that got her attention.
One,
So I
two,
said,
three,
oh
go.
yeah, I forgot to mention, I wouldn't trade a single day for 100 years of your
No, I'm saying like when you slap it like this, it blows out the bottom.
I've never actually seen one shot.
She's heard all of my lines.
Yeah, you gotta get like.
Come on, girl, seriously.
No, I do.
I've been so lucky I'd shooting pool in my bachelor pad, playing bass in my cover band, be stocking up cold Bud Light for poker every Tuesday night. Yeah, I'd have a dirt bike in the shed, not one throw pillow on the bed. I keep my cash in a coffee can. But if I was a single man, alone and out there on the blue,
I'll see you in a little bit.
Hey!
What do you mean? What am I doing here? So, do you like pretend that this is a gift bag
Or
or?
am I opening it right now?
Yeah.
she knows what a mess I'd be if I didn't have her here. But to be
What?
She loves me.
Sweating this horse shit. God damn, I wouldn't want to get married, but.
the best friend.
Oh, it's a 4-5. Yeah, 1911. Is that jack off? Yeah. That's unfair. What'd you get? Big and black. Bowling with a gun? That is bad as tack off. Yeah, you know you want a picture of that. Look at that beast.
'Cause honestly, I don't know what I'd
Ready? Cheers to the Nilson wedding and
We're gonna officially getting hitched.
partying.
Never being single again. Living with the same man for the rest of their life. Snoring really loud. Good thing for earphones.
And cheers with him. Cheersies. Cheers to us.
And we're gonna get closer. There you go. And then sister, let's put sister on this side.
Go find the cock-a-doodle-doo. Go find the cock-a-doodle-doo.
Go see the donkey.
While they're happy, let's throw them in the photo.
Okay.
Come on, okay? We're gonna take pictures.
Here, take a picture. Bella, you can come back.
got a bad name, but a man can change. Living proof of that. Till my last day, till my last day.
Here we go.
And I can love you the best till my last day. I'll be loving you.
Wait till the family photos for friends. Wait till the family photos.
Look it, right here. Good job.
I'll be loving you.
And I'm from grandmother.
Baby, I'm not made of
So beautiful, Morgan. Not her, I mean you. You.
but you know I'll be the first one to leave in a hurry to get you.
No, I
Grab one, grab one.
front. Because these doors will be open.
But you gotta give it back.
Give it back.
Yep.
Grandpa's.
Yep.
Love it.
Just kind of talk to each other.
Oh, God, it's so good.
Hey, he's giving the bonus.
Give a bonus.
All right.
Go this way.
Little girl. Blue eyes. Blue eyes. What's up, dude? Yeah. I don't know. One beer and one water.
Say hi.
Yes, we got hecklers. Yep.
And you're back.
I'm back.
You look up.
Should I drop that line one more time? I think they might like it. Starch, is that the problem?
Let's go watch them.
Who gives this beautiful bride to this handsome young man?
Her mother and I.
Welcome, everyone. Please be seated. Eric, Morgan, I'd like you to take a look around. You have so much love and support that is here. It is truly astonishing. I want you to remember this for the rest of your lives. That you are not alone. That these people are here for you and they love you and they support you and they are at your disposal. Eric and Morgan would like to thank all of you for coming. They want you to know that it is important to them that they share this day with you. And they want you to know that they feel blessed to have you all in their lives. I'd like to take a moment to recognize one person in particular that could not physically be here with us today. Morgan's father, Tom, who passed away way too early. Morgan, I want you to know that your dad is here. He is so proud of the woman that you have become. And he is so excited for this next chapter in your life. I truly know that if he was here to walk you down the aisle today, he would have grabbed Eric, he would have pulled him aside, and he would have said, "You are one lucky man." Please take care of my baby girl. Eric, I want you to know he's excited to have you in the family too. He's excited that you won her heart. Eric and Morgan have placed a pair of Tom's boots behind me, and at this time I'd like to take a moment of silence to remember him. Well, wow, you made it. You're here. The day is finally here. It's beautiful and hot, and you have some of the most important people surrounding you right now. What a cool day. You guys remember the first day that you met? I know the answer to this question because I was fortunate enough to sit down with them for a few hours before the wedding a couple weeks ago. And as we got talking, I started asking questions, and that was one of them. You guys remember the first time you met? So we took a little stroll down memory lane. So I'm going to tell the story because I think it's awesome. Eric says this: I'm going to go out with my buddies. I'm going to go dancing. But Eric, come on. But he does. He goes out, he gets with his buddies, and he says, "Hey, we're going to go out." And we go over to this place called Toby Keith's Bar and Grill. Classy establishment. One of our favorites, huh? He looks over, he sees this beautiful girl on her cell phone, not having the time of her life. But he says, "You know, I know how to make people have fun. I'm going to walk over there." So he gets a little bit of encouragement from his old buddy Jack, and he heads on over. Come to find out, Morgan's babysitting that night. By babysitting, I mean she's driving. So she's hanging out on her phone. Eric goes over there and asks her to dance. And she makes some lame excuse about her knee, right? Well, turns out she had knee surgery, yes. But that was 2 years ago. Either way, that's neither here nor there, right? So Eric is one persistent son of a gun. And I say persistent because I want you all to remember that later. So with some sweet talking, he decides to pull out his phone, and what does he do? He adds her on Facebook. I mean, it works, so remember that, guys. Single guys, I guess. Now he also manages to get her digits, and when he gets home, he decides to shoot out some texts. Now I'm not here for these texts, but I'm assuming they went something like this: "Hey, good to meet ya. Hope to see you again soon." Or, "Hey, when can I see you again?" A couple days of these texts go by and he hears nothing. So what do you think he does? He reverts back to that Facebook. Little iMessage, or a little Facebook message. Now I wasn't here for this either, so I'm spitballing, but I'm assuming it went something like this: "Hey, why can't you just respond to my text? What's going on?" I'm not asking for much, I'm just asking to see you again. Come to find out, Jack and him saved the wrong number. Regardless, now they're dating, right? Next thing you know, they're dating. After 4 months of this courtship, he decides that he's going to make this woman his girlfriend. Persistence. So he sets up a time, he sets up a place, and he says, meet me there. And she says no. She says, I'm too busy. I got school, I got work, I don't have time for that right now. And this time, Eric says, you know what, I'm going to let this one marinate for a minute. Let's see how this goes. Sure enough, a few days later, she comes around. She calls and says, let's go to dinner. Let's talk. And now his dream comes true. He gets the woman of his dreams. Now he's dating her finally. Now I tell you this story to reiterate the principle that Eric demonstrated throughout this courtship, which was persistence. Eric knew that this was the woman that he wanted to spend the rest of his life with. He knew that it wasn't going to be easy and that he had to put up a fight. And he did. Marriage is something that takes work, you two. I had a great time last night at the rehearsal dinner, and I don't think any of you know this, but I overheard Eric's dad talking. He was talking to one of our friends, Adam. And I think he was giving him a little bit of some cheats, about marriage. He's like, hey, you should listen to me. I know, I've been around for a while. But I caught him say this. He said, you know what, it's not always easy. He's like, there's times that you think, this is how marriage is supposed to go, this is my role, this is your role, this is how it's supposed to be. And they just don't happen that way. And he said, you know what, but it's okay, Adam, it's okay. This is what he told me. And I like that because he said, it's okay. Now this leads me to another principle that rings really near and dear to my heart, which is patience. Be patient with one another. The other week I was sitting down with one of my best friends in this whole world. He was about to do the exact same thing that you were going to do. He was about to marry the woman of his dreams. And he said, Tim, I'm nervous. I want this to be perfect. And I'm going to tell you what I told him. You have the rest of your lives to perfect this. If you look at your relationship since 2010, you have been together for 5, maybe 6, depending. When you're in kindergarten compared to a human life. Kindergarten. I know you want to drive the car, but you got to go through the years. Don't expect that. What I mean by this is let life guide you. Let life take you where you were meant to go. Do not force things. No 5-year-old can drive a car. Don't get frustrated. Be patient. You're off to a great start. Now I put a note here. I read a talk not too long ago in preparation of this. And this couple had been married for 50 years. And he says, I am still to this day learning about my wife. He says, I know how to piss her off. She knows how to tick me off. He said, but I am still learning and growing. And I thought that was cool because I don't know everything about my wife, but I know about a half a century worth, he says. 50 years. Isn't that cool? Anyways, I thought that was cool. Now there's a book out there that I like to recommend to everyone all the time. It's called The 5 Love Languages. Without going on some tangent for the next 5 hours and boring you all to death, I challenge you both to read this book, and I challenge you both to talk about it. Learn the language in which you both feel represents yourself. Remember that love is the reason that you're standing here today, in front of all these special people. It is important that you grow and you progress as one. As from this day forward, you are one. It's no longer I'm going over to Eric's house or I'm going over to Morgan's house. I'm going over to the Nilson's house. That's it. I can't wait to be invited someday. I'm kidding. The last thing I'd like to touch on is forgiveness. You have been with each other for many years now, so I'm sure you've been down this road once or twice. I want you to remember this day. Remember that the persistence, remember the patience, remember the love, and remember to forgive. Life is going to throw out many, many curveballs. It is your job to stand at the plate together and hit those head on. With that said, I'd like to invite you two over here to this wine barrel. Now, Morgan and Eric have decided to do something a little bit different of a ceremony, which some of you may have seen, some of you may have not. It's called a wine box ceremony. Now, this is where they have both written a letter to each other, and neither of them have read it. They have also purchased a bottle of wine at their engagement in Sedona that they're going to place in this box. And they're going to lock it up. And they have two options to open this box up. One of which is if they ever forget about the love, the patience, the persistence, and the forgiveness, they are to go into this box and drink the entire bottle of wine. And then they are to read these letters to each other and remember where they came from. Remember that this is why they're here. Now, we hope that that doesn't happen. So if it doesn't, and when it doesn't, right, they're to open this box on their 5th anniversary in celebration of such a cool experience that they had today. And they'll remember it, and again, drink the whole bottle of wine first. And then read the letters to each other. Please put it in. I also want you to keep this someplace very special so you can see it a lot. Don't tuck it away. Put it somewhere in the house that you can see it often. It will remind you of today. Go ahead and step back, please, after you're done. I don't have a key. I'll go to Ace real quick.
Little Florence Ace, true value.
Cody, my man, you got something for me? Hard to hold these and look at this, but mine right now. I would like to remind you the significance of these rings, you two. They are not to be taken lightly. This is a symbol of your love to one another. Wear them proudly. Remember that the circle is unbroken, and like your marriage, it is never ending. Am I being cheesy right now? All right, Eric. Please take Morgan's left hand. Well, brother, do you promise to take care of this woman for the rest of your life? Do you promise to love her unconditionally? And do you want to marry her? Put that ring on her finger. Morgan, do you promise to love this man with every ounce of love in you? Do you promise to be by his side through all the good and any bad that may come? And do you want to marry this man? Put it on. Put it on. Well, you two, thanks to the World Wide Web and the state of Arizona, I finally can say that you are husband and wife. Kiss your bride. For the first time ever, Mr. and Mrs. Nilson.
stand here, buddy.
The reason your hair's a mess. The bass drum beating way down deep in your chest. If I could be the voice on the radio, and I could be your long ride. If mine could be the name that changes yours, the wine in your glass, swing on your porch, the dollar in your pocket and the peaceful in your sleep, then I'd be what you mean to me. Stay up in your vein, watching you, turning every head in this crowd. The lights down low, dancing slow.
Come on, you want to ride? We'll go up here and ride.
You feel, and perfect's what you see, and I'd be what you mean to me.
All right, here we go, ladies. Okay, one.
If I could be the fire, the cool in the rain, the spark in the answer to your prayer, and the faith that sets you free, then I'd be what you mean to me.
Got my yaw coming out.
Watching you, turning every head in this crowded room. The lights down low, dancing slow. Oh, if falling's how you feel, and perfect's what you see, and I'd be what you mean to me.
Go ahead and kiss again.
What you mean to me.
And then with a smile.
You know, all of this talking makes you laugh, but I've gotta let you know just how I feel.
Right there.
While I'm standing here, watching you, turning every head in this crowded room. The lights down low, dancing slow. Oh, if falling's how you feel, and perfect's what you see, and I'd be what you
We get one more
Yeah.
of us facing towards the sun.
yeah, falling's how you feel, and perfect's what you see, and I'd be what you mean to me.
We're going to buckle her and then we're ready.
Be what you mean.
Do you have anything else?
Welcome to the best wedding reception you will ever attend. All right, how about that? Before we get started, though, first of all, how great was the ceremony with Tim? Didn't he do a great job? Fabulous. Don't you like her, right? The one with no date? Hold on, let me tell you. This one right here? All right, you got let me go. Ready? All right, party people on my right. Name, that jam. My middle table right here, you are all dismissed. Now get your plates. How did it go?
Would you call that a dress or straight screaming?
Oh, there you go.
Two piece dresses and she's like holding it and screaming.
We would like to give a special thank you. So before we get started.
But I want to thank each and every one of you that have come to share this day with Morgan and Eric. The time you've taken out from work to travel here, take a day off from work, truly means a lot to us. Morgan, I have loved you longer than anyone here, and while I've made some mistakes along with raising you, in the end, you've become exactly what your dad and I dreamed of wanting for you. I am truly proud of you today, and you will always have my support in your next chapter of your life. Eric. I have known you for 5 years, and I truly do believe you were chosen for Morgan. You have qualities in you that balance Morgan, your steady strength, your laughter, your calmness, your dependability. I love you, and I am now proud to call you my son-in-law. I have two pieces of advice for you too. The first is, a perfect marriage is just two imperfect people who refuse to give up on each other. And the second is, forgiveness is the best form of love. It takes a strong person to say I'm sorry, and even a stronger person to forgive.
One more time, big round of applause for Cindy.
Morgan, when we were in 7th grade, and great friends all throughout junior high, high school, college, after college, and so I've known her for quite some time. It was an honor for her to ask me to be at the wedding and for her to ask me to be a maid of honor. And I just wanted to share some few words with them. I was going to go ahead and tell a story of how we met Eric, because I was there that night. But Tim did a great job, and we all know the story. So, over the last couple weeks, I have been brainstorming a little bit. I'm like, what am I going to say? What stories am I going to share? What stories am I not going to share? What's appropriate, inappropriate, and all that kind of stuff. So, we're just going to keep that between us. And, you know, brainstorming, I really have thought about why we're really here, and it is because of Morgan and Eric. And Morgan is a person, so I'm not gonna let you when you're crying. But there's a reason Morgan's been in my life for so long, and I think it's like certain qualities that she has, and we all who know her know that these qualities are some qualities she shares. So I want to go ahead and share them with you, and I'm also giving the definition, so bear with me, okay? So, Morgan's honest. The definition of an honest person is honorable in principles, intentions, actions, and upright fare. I would say that's a great quality Morgan has. She's also very humorous, funny and comical, genuine, authentic, and real. She's intelligent, displaying or characterized by quickness of understanding, thought, or good judgment, and she's chic, attractive and fashionable, stylish and elegant. So, you know, those 5 qualities really stuck out to me, and as a wife, they're great qualities to have as well. And, you know, Morgan's been there for me, I don't know, for 14 years, and I know that she's going to be there for Morgan for years and years and, you know, years to come. Eric, I love you. I wouldn't choose anybody else for Morgan to marry. You are the most genuine man. And I'm not even like, I wouldn't pick anyone else to have, like, Morgan be, you know, for anyone else for Morgan to be with. I'm excited for what the future holds. You know I both love you, and I'm excited for you. So thank you for having me be part of this day.
One more time, party people, big round of applause for our maid of honor, Courtney.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm working on it. First off, I'd like to thank every one of you for attending this beautiful ceremony to celebrate the beginning of Eric and Morgan Nilson's future together.
Well read.
Biggie, keep your mouth shut for a couple minutes. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Cody Peters. I've known Eric for quite a few years now. I've learned a lot from him. He's a smooth talker with ladies, obviously. I don't know how the hell he ended up with her, but we're thankful for it.
Roll the card! Do it! Go with it!
I can't do it, Mike. So, I've seen the love these two have for each other and how hard they work for everything they have together. I once asked Morgan, how hard is it on a relationship to work completely different schedules during the week? Her answer was, when we don't get to see each other all the time, it makes me realize how much I miss him and how much I love him. That answer right there made me realize how important they are to each other. If you ever go hunt with this guy, make sure you bring a lighter to start a fire. Or camp with someone that does have a means of making a fire, or else you're going to be rubbing on a stick for 2 hours.
We almost had it though.
We almost had it, but all we had was smoke. Alright. So if I could have you raise your glass to many years of love and marriage to come. May the differences stay small and your hearts remain big. Congratulations to the new Mr. and Mrs. Nilson.
Party people, one more time, big round of applause for Cody. All right, Mr. and Mrs. Nilson, can we have you join us on the dance floor, please? Party people, get your cameras ready. Morgan and Eric will be doing their first dance as husband and wife. That's right, all the ladies in the house say, oh. Let's do a married couples slow dance right now. So grab your husband, grab your wives. Let's do a married couples slow dance. Put some good vibes on these two. All my married couples. Let's start with the process of elimination. If you've been married for less than 4 hours, please have seats. If you've been married for 1 year or less, please have a seat. Married couples. All right, married couples, if you've been married for 5 years or less. 5 years or less. I want to know your names and how long you've been married. Wait, now you got the drink, now you sit down. I want to acknowledge you first. Tell me your names and how long you've been married.
Mark and Linda. We've been married 31 years.
Did you get it wrong? 30 years or 31? Uh-oh, we're starting an argument. We're gonna let them sit down, ladies. All right, tell me your names and how long you've been married.
George and Linda, 32 years.
32. All right, tell me your name and how long you've been married.
And Lois, 36.
36 years? Okay, come here for a second. If you were to give them one piece of advice each on how to make it to 36 years, what would you tell them?
Love each other and let her boss once in a while.
She's the boss, you gotta love her. She's the boss, right? Coming from the expert, 36 years, don't take that for granted. And for you, ma'am?
One day at a time, just love each other and love the baby.
One day at a time. Give it up one more time for Morgan's grandparents. Party people, get your cameras ready. I give you our father-daughter dance. Party people, make some noise one time for the father-daughter dance. Party people, I give you our mother-son dance.
Make 'em be doctors and lawyers and such. Mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys.
All right, I know we just finished dinner. When you first met, who made the first move? Who is the better driver? Morgan is very honest. Okay, all right. Who's been in more car accidents? I just needed to confirm the better driver, so thank you for being honest, Morgan. All right. Who studied the hardest in school? These two are on fire right now, huh? Who got better grades? All right, Eric, but who's smarter? Who is more creative? There you go, all right. Who will be doing the cooking? Paranoid, I'm not lifting a finger in that house, huh? Who is more adventurous? Who's more likely to get injured? Uh-oh. That means they fight each other a lot. Who is more likely to get sunburned? There's a lot of finger pointing going on right now. Who is more likely to be running late? I'm so confused with the switch right now. I don't know what's going on. Who is the better dresser? Who is better looking? Wait, let me help you out. Yep. Yep, there you go. There you go. All right. Who said I love you first? Attaboy, Eric. Do you remember when? He doesn't remember. Was it on Facebook? Was it? Who starts the arguments? There's no shame in Morgan's game, huh? Who's the first to say, I'm sorry? You know, I didn't finish the sentence, Eric already put a shoe up. He did. Question we've all been waiting for tonight. Who wears the pants in a relationship? She loves you, bro. She loves you. All right. Who spends more money? Who pays the bills? All right, now, just put those shoes up real quick. She pays the bills? All right, ladies and gentlemen, we now know who wears the pants in a relationship. Thank you for being honest, Eric. Here's a favorite one. Who has the craziest family? If you were both trapped on a desert island, who would be more likely to eat the other one to stay alive? Last question. Right now, who do you love more than anyone in the world? Make some noise for the Nilson family.
Putting on this wedding for Morgan and being there for Morgan when you had to play the role of mom and dad at the same time. The best mom ever. Her husband.
it might rain, but that. Once again, all the ladies, here we go. On the count of 3, ladies, are you ready? Morgan, are you ready? On 3, 1, 2, 3. We want to see you get that garter with no hands. Sexiest man in the barn. All right, fellas, on the count of 3, Eric's gonna shoot that garter in the air, and then every man for themselves. Fellas, Eric, are you ready? Here we go. On 3, 1, 2, 3.
No, he's got like live.
The camera's not picking up the farting I'm doing right now.
See what I'm talking about.
Say what up. What up? Love you, buddy. We love you so much. What a great wedding, huh?
Got some say I like it. Boy, I got the right to shake you down. If you come. I need
No, don't do it or do it.
Yeah!